Okay, this is an update of the microphone to Midi program that I was working on, something that converts what I sing, whistle, say in a microphone to Midi that can then be played on a synthesizer or keyboard. A couple changes I made. I changed it from using a Raspberry Pi, which had this little bitty microphone, to now using something called a Nano Pi Dual, which is very similar to the Raspberry Pi. It just doesn't have a graphics chip, so it's kind of good for what I'm doing because I'm not using any graphics. I've also changed where I'm using a microphone and this little PreSonus audio box. All that is doing is allowing me to use a real microphone instead of the little bitty USB microphone. Still connected up to Janet's Kurzweil keyboard, but if you see way down there in the corner, I was playing with an old synthesizer I have from the early 90s. Anyway, so the changes that I've made to the program are now it displays stuff. So you don't just get a black screen. So I can actually see the different instruments that you can use in Midi. Midi also has groups, so I can change the group, and within the group there are instruments, like here's an organ, and then there's the different kinds of organs within that group. It also allows you to display a piano keyboard, and the little note there will bounce around on the piano keyboard as you're singing, and it also gives you a note down there that will tell you the actual note, which is good for, you know, if you're tuning your guitar or something. So anyway, I just want to demonstrate what this sounds like now. Not all of the instruments sound great, but some of them sound pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and pick an instrument that I know sounds pretty good. So the violin sounds pretty good. So you can see how the piano note moves around on that. I'm going to turn that off and just let you listen to. So, so that is me making noise into the microphone. I am not a singer. And it playing the violin on the keyboard. So let me change the trumpet, where the versions of the trumpet actually sound pretty good. So when I choose trombone, it's really kind of one of the trumpets. Some of the synthesized sounds sound pretty good. Some of the flutes sound pretty good. Let's try this synthesize. And so this, you hear me talking. How's that? So that was me talking in the microphone. And if you're using a keyboard like this, this keyboard has a bender on it, so you can actually do some really kind of cool things. So I'm going to talk in the microphone and do this. Turn the microphone on. That's me bending a sound. Let me go back to the violin, and you may be able to hear it bend better. So it just gives you all kinds of interesting things that you can do by picking a different instrument and then whistling, singing, or whatever you want. Try a different, some of the flutes. So that gives you an idea of some of the changes that have come along with it. If you're not convinced that it's actually getting the notes, so I'm